Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody. So it's Christmas time here, December coming up pretty soon. Thought I'd show you something related to Christmas on my home automation system that's pretty slick. What I wanted is, Christmas lights outside my house. I've got on a timer program, so they come on at a certain time and go off at a certain time, and that's fine. But decorations on the inside of the house, I wanted to automate them a little differently. And what I wanted them to be on when someone was here. So it's related to presents. So one of the things I did, and I'm going to show you on this Christmas tree right behind me, is I used a bunch of Insteon plug-in modules, and then I set up a program to do it, and I'll show you that. We have got, I think, 5 Christmas trees in our house. I know we're pretty crazy, but if you take a look here, that is an Insteon on-off module. You can see I've got a couple things plugged into it, the tree as well as this little Santa guy right here that turns and stuff. So that's one of them. Here is another one that I've got where this lighted garland is sitting on the kitchen counter here. It is plugged in right there. Then we got the old snowman tree here in this room, and same sort of thing. So each one of these modules is an Insteon module. They have a couple buttons on them where you can manually just turn them on and off with the up and down button, and then I think that's a learn button. So what we're looking at here is the administrative console interface for the Universal Devices ISY994, which is the module that I use to manage all the X10 and Insteon system in the house. So as I said before, I think in another video, my alarm system communicates via X10 to the ISY module, and then the ISY communicates with all of the modules in my house and the lighting switches and stuff via Insteon. So let's talk about presents first. So in this folder, this is the Programs tab. So in this folder on presence detection, there's a few programs here that makes this work. So take a look at the green text right here. This is the description of the variables that are used. Alarm status variable 1, 2, or 3 for disarmed, armed away, armed stay. That is, again, obtained through X10 commands that the Honeywell alarm system sends when it gets armed, disarmed, etc. Presence variable 0 and 1. This is the one that we're going to use elsewhere. 0 means nobody's at home, 1 means someone's at home. And in this presence timeout variable is a little tricky part of this. I may have it more complicated than it needs to be, but it's 0, 1, or 2 depending on whether or not activity was just detected or it had been detected, etc. Okay, this activity in-house program right here. The if statement says if the alarm status equals 1, which means it's disarmed, and any of these things happened, okay? This is a bunch of ORs. So this first one here, an X10A9 command, was received from the alarm system. The alarm system is pretty much set up that if any internal motion detectors or any door or window sensors are triggered, it will send that command. Pretty much means it's detected someone's in the house. So if you're moving around in the house, you're going to be setting off motion detectors constantly. So that one X10 command is really an aggregate of 30-something zones on the Honeywell alarm system that it's monitoring and saying, hey, somebody's moving around, somebody's opening the door. And then all these are infrared commands because that means somebody's using the remote that's in the family room. This is the more common one, though, is to receive that command from the alarm system saying that there's movement. Then you set presence equal 1, and that presence equal 1 means we're at home. And you set the timeout equal 2, which means it was just recently detected. If the system is armed for alarm status 3, meaning it's armed for stay, then absolutely presence equal 1, and there's no need to time it out. It means the whole time it's in stay mode, no one's at home. Whereas activity in-house, the timeout starts, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. Setting the timeout equal 2 means, well, there's nobody detected in the house right at this moment, but after a certain amount of time, if there's no more activity detected, it'll go back to being no one at home. Away, this one's pretty simple too. If alarm status equal away, I've got it waiting 3 minutes. That way when we're at the panel, we push the away button, it immediately doesn't turn everything off. There's a delay. Sets presence equals 0. So these two programs manage the timeout variable. So pretty much what happens, if the timeout's set to 2, it waits 30 minutes and then sets it to 1. And then if it's set to 1, it waits 30 minutes and sets presence to 0. All that is, it doesn't necessarily need to be 2 steps like that. I don't think. When I originally programmed it, I experimented with doing it a few different ways. That pretty much just means if an hour goes by and there's no activity detected, and even if the alarm is armed for is not armed, if it's disarmed, it will go to presence equals 0, meaning no one's home. So that's presence. Let's take a look at light timers. So in the light timer section, I've got one called presence light timers. By the way, I've got this other one called Christmas lights, and these are the outside Christmas lights at my house. So I've also got an X10, I'm sorry, not an X10, an Insteon switch that runs all of the outlets, that runs the Christmas lights outside the house. These are easy programs. They turn on at sunset, less than an hour, and they turn off at 11 p.m. It's the internal lights that are more tricky, which is here. So it's really these 4 programs. So let's first look at on and off on schedule. These are easy. If it's 8 a.m. and someone's at home, turn them on. If it's 10 p.m., turn them off. Simple. This is off if not at home. If presence equals 0, turn the plug-in modules off. And if presence equals 1 and they were off, and it's during the time period that they should be on, they'll turn them back on. So that's what's going on there, and it's a little tricky, but I've tested it pretty thoroughly, and it works really good. This one is in the same folder. All this is if presence equals 0, meaning that we've left, is all the internal lights that are on Insteon modules, just turn them off. So that's it. That's how the software works. So this is a fast playback from the video security system showing you us leaving, just to demonstrate how it works. So we just pulled away. A few minutes later, the house detects that we're gone, so it turns all the lights out. And then you're going to see us pull back in here later on when we got home, and you'll notice that the house detected that we got home and put everything back the way it was and turned the lights back on. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this video I made on how I automate some of the stuff here in my house using the Insteon system and the ISY module. So you guys have a good Christmas and Happy New Year.